Hello guys, Peter Mbiria here. Now, today we have a W126 300SE and it has an M103 engine. There's an inline 6 with 3 liters of displacement, okay, or rather 3000 cc, okay. And this engine brought this car here using the Bosch electronic system. You can see it right here. This is the fuel distributor. We have the idle control valve here. We have the fuel regulator here, the mechanical injectors, the previous spark plugs, they don't even look the same. And then we have the distributor part. But now, we have changed all that. Instead of the fuel distributor, we have the fuel injectors with a custom curvy fuel rail. These are the injectors. They are still from another Mercedes-Benz engine, a W203, but these are brand new injectors, okay? And on this other side, we have custom column plugs. That means each spark plug has got its own dedicated coil, right? So we have got 6 of them with a nicely branded support rail, okay? And so what is left to do right now is put up the harness and we see whether the engine starts, okay? So right now we have the harness right here, okay? So this is the harness, it's naked, okay? So we normally wrap it up after we are through with the testings, okay? We have the version 2, generation 2 ECU, and of course my laptop for tuning purposes and testing. All right, so now let's get to work. Of course I've got to glove up, okay? It's always good to always have a okay. My hands can still work, so let me get my harness, okay? It doesn't look organized, I'll say, but in a short time you'll see where everything goes. All right, so this is the power lines, okay? This is the positive 12 volts ground, okay? I have the ignition line right here. We have the what? This is for the tachometer signal, right? And then here we have the ground for the color plugs. So I'll just lay each the respective location they're supposed to be at. So this is the number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, 1. Then we have a camshaft position sensor right here. Right. Injectors. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. The temperature sensor right here. Okay, please go here. This is for the throttle position. As you can see, we have a custom throttle position sensor here. Then you attach it to its connector, secure it. We have a map sensor right here, secure it. Okay, we have to ground the column plugs very well. So attach them here. All right, okay. Now I'll need to ground this wire, so I'll just take this out. positive. A bit tight. This is for testing purposes, so I'll just slide it here. This is normally the tachometer signal, okay, that goes to the cluster as well. So I'll just slide it here temporarily. Just make sure you can send that signals directly. Okay, I could have had the opportunity to open it up, but there is low current connection. Again, testing purposes, right? Now our connector right here. So I'll just grab our ECU right here and then align the connections pretty well, like so, and then done. Okay, now the next step is attach my laptop. All right, I'll open it up. My trusted ThinkPad. I will allow it to boot now that it was asleep. Okay, ready, done. So I was tuning another vehicle, so I'll do those and place the light. Okay, let me grab that file. Where is it? It's here. Let me grab another file. Where is it? Advanced. So what I'm doing right now is just grab all the sensory data there is at any one time and make sure they are within the specs. Okay, I just need to know what the map sensor is doing, the position, pump shaft and all. Okay, just select what I want, upload. So right now I'm just communicating to the ECU directly, okay, because you can see this USB cable is connected to the ECU, right? Oh, nice. Okay, so what I'm about to do is just pull all the data. So there you go. Here we have all the data coming in. Okay, so I can see the throttle position, I can see the map figures, I can see the drive modes parameters. Okay, if I change parameters here on the drive modes, you can see the values increasing. Okay, I can check the battery voltage. All right, so I'll just take this cable here. If I connect to the battery, I can see the raw figure of the battery is indicated here. If I remove, of course it will start dropping. Okay, there's the temperature value. If I remove the temperature sensor from here, if I remove, it jumps up to maximum. Okay, so all those are working. If I remove the cam position sensor, if I remove it, all jump to maximum. Yeah, so that tells me everything is okay. So put it back. Oh, it's connected. It makes sure doesn't come off on its own, no matter what. Okay. Throttle position, we are at, this is raw value. Okay, so if I do as if I'm accelerating, the figure will be increasing. Okay, so what I've just done right now is make sure all the sensors are working. Before now I could upload the engine fast run firmware. All right, okay, so let me just do so. Now let me fetch that program. I'll just take the program that ran in Tanzania. Engine start. You can have a look at it. I know. So now I've got the engine start program. I'll just select the board I want to interact with. That is the one. And then I'll just push that firmware. So I'm waiting for it to first compile. Okay. Sorry, it's not as bright. All right, so now let's see how the engine will behave. What I'll do right now is go turn on the key. Okay, I need it to first pressurize the rail before I prompt the ECU to make the engine ready to start. So it's ready. Okay, so I'll come here and prompt it. Oh, no. So I've not attached this one. It needs to know it's on. So this mimics the ignition turn on. Okay, so I'll just close this one first. Yes, I wanted to hear that clicking. Now let's see how the engine starts. Okay. I can see some live on it. So I just come back here, prompt it again. That's how we do it. You are not going to stall. Okay, so what I will do now is increase the idle. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, and my laptop is dying on me. Wow. It's idling at what, 900 rpm. These are the rpms. Okay, and man, this is this is awesomely good. You've got to love how calm that engine is. Wow. Turning pretty well. No gimmicks, just, you know, Voltarent FI things. Okay. Now, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And let me first turn it off. Now, some of you have been mentioning that my audio is not as crisp, okay? And yes, I did something about it. I went out there and acquired these Lavariel Porodo microphones, okay? On the outside, they look premium. Even on the inside, they look pretty premium. But when I bought them, I wasn't given the opportunity to test whatsoever. I first had to purchase them before I could test them, and that applied to all the shops that I went. So I was never given the chance to test. Okay, the first impressions were great until I used it. Didn't like the results. Okay, packaging is great. I liked the noise cancelling bit of it, but the audio crispness disappeared. So this is the receiver that I'm going to attach on my phone. Okay. Okay. And by now you can hear the difference. Background noise has disappeared. Now it's fully focused on my voice, but now it feels as if I'm inside a container. No longer as crisp, you know, no longer hearing the high pitches and all. So that disappeared. So it doesn't matter how I position it. And if I turn it this way, audio remains the same. There's no sharpness up there. High frequencies have disappeared a bit. Okay. If I place it here, sound is still the same. Okay. I sound as if I'm inside a container. Even if I turn it this way, doesn't change, well, according to me. But you can hear the audio yourselves. Okay. And even if I place it further, like so, even when I'm doing my recordings and all, it's not as crisp and as sharp on the higher frequencies. When you turn it, still the same thing. Okay, and you can compare that with after I've removed it. Of course, you can hear a lot of background noise, but my voice is very sharp. Okay, it's the voice that you know and you have known for a long time. So they did one thing, noise cancelling, but then they did an undesirable thing. Now the sound is no longer as crisp as supposed to be. Okay, so yeah, I bought knowing that I'm getting a high quality product, but it's not. So the audio quality for me is not the best. It's not as crisp as I would have expected, and so my phone's audio still remains superior. So you guys, which one would you recommend? Okay, at least you have heard it for yourself. As much as yes, the phone's audio has a lot of background, you can hear the wind and all, but it is crisp. My laughter and my sound remains as original as possible, as opposed to hearing it from inside a container. Okay, now this is where we are at right now. The next stage, now that my laptop is gone, the next stage would be to remove this harness, remove it all. It has to be covered neatly. It has to look neat, of course. I mean, the moment you open the bonnet, the first thing you see is the engine layout. Has to look as authentic and as appealing as possible. That Voltarent will make sure we deliver the utmost beauty on the engine. Like you can open the engine and have your breakfast there. Has to look like that, okay? Now, who would like to hear it run another time? Okay? I'll just reattach my signal here for the ignition and then start the engine. Yes, man. So it needs to be able to compensate better. So those are things that needs to be done on the ECU tuning purposes. Okay. Let me try to accelerate gently. Already I can tell needs more fuel, but that's on the tuning side of things. Okay, that's what makes the Voltarent ECU fun. Okay. If I remove number 6, of course you can tell it's struggling to run. Number 5 really struggles until it stalls. Okay, now let my guy go and start it again. So yes, there's a lot that needs to be done on it. We need, of course, to wrap the harness. We need to have the ECU inside the dashboard. Okay, and make sure the engine bay first of all looks very neat. Okay, and once we have the ECU on the inside, we will also need to make sure the drive modes package is installed correctly. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. So as opposed to what we used to do back in the day, where we would install the ECU inside the glove box, now this modern ECU, it can be hidden down here very well, so that you can still use your glove box as you used to. Okay, the drive mode knob will be positioned here, so that now the user can change how the engine responds at any one time. And then the drive modes display will come in here. See, it's a small OLED, and you can see, of course, the tachometer is running very much okay, as you'd expect, and the speedo is 40. So we are at standstill, but it says we are at what, 70 something kilometers per hour. Okay, again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Share with your friends, let them know that Voltarent is here to stay, and it's here to make sure your old engine like this one gets back on the road with more power, more horses, and less on your pocket. Cheers guys, thank you.